Hi all, this is our 11th video in React Redux series. In this, we are going to learn what is store in Redux. Before moving to store, before understanding what is store, let me be very clear. If you are a complete beginner to Redux and if you are not aware of Redux, till now we have only seen about actions, reducers and what is state. As I told you, we are only going to learn Redux in simple JavaScript application. Till now, we have not used Redux with React. So in Redux, to create a store, we have one method called create store. This create store method is deprecated, which means it is no longer used because there is one library called Redux Toolkit. In that, we are having one method called configure store. That configure store method is replaced in place of this create store, and this is deprecated. So before moving to Redux Toolkit, we have to understand Redux. Only then we will be able to appreciate Redux Toolkit. Only then we will be able to see what are the changes, what are the differences between Redux and Redux Toolkit. In Redux, everything, actions, reducers, creating store, everything we have to do it manually. But in Redux Toolkit, there are many things which will be going on behind. Automatically, it does because it will be using immer. You don't have to worry about immer. What I am telling you, don't have to worry. Later on, when we learn about Redux Toolkit, you will be more appreciating Redux Toolkit when compared to Redux. So before moving to Redux Toolkit, you should understand Redux. So as create store is deprecated, still I will be teaching you in this example. If you don't want to use, if you don't want to understand about create store, it's fine. You can go with Redux Toolkit. Soon I will be starting that series as well. So you don't have to worry. Just wait until I finish Redux. Once we complete Redux, then I will be starting Redux Toolkit series. In that, you will be able to differentiate between Redux and Redux Toolkit. You will be able to write the code in more faster way and in more better way. As of now, forget everything. Don't worry about Redux Toolkit. Just focus on Redux. Once we implement this Redux, once we understand how to create store, how actions are dispatched and everything, then it will be very easy for you to get started with Redux Toolkit. As we all know, Redux is a state container for JavaScript applications and often it is called as a store. And it will be storing whole data of our application, and we have already seen our state is immutable. We cannot change the state. Only when we dispatch the actions, we will be able to change the state or update the state. But directly, states are immutable. We cannot do any changes inside the state. And in our application, we can have only one store. We cannot have multiple stores for one single application. For one single application, there will always be one store. And inside that store, all the data will be stored in a single object. Object we already know, it will be having key value pairs. And when we use that create store method, inside that we are going to pass reducer as its parameter. After that, we are going to dispatch the actions and we will be getting the result. Store is nothing but it will be storing whole application state, and inside our one application, we will only have one single store. And these are some of the responsibilities of a store. First, it will be storing state of our application. Previously, we have seen what is state. Our entire data of our application will be stored. Like if I am having number of books will be stored. Number of users will be stored. If the user is logged in or not, that information will be stored. If the user has clicked on checkbox or not, that information. All the information, all the application state information will be stored inside the store. And it has one method called getState, which allows our application to access the state. Using this method, our application will be getting access to access the state. And also, it will allow our application to register listeners. Practically, we are going to see all these things. Once you see practically, you will understand all the responsibilities of a store. It allows our application to register listeners through the subscribe method. Subscribe method is basically, now I have a YouTube channel. If you have subscribed to my channel and you have clicked on the bell notification, whenever I upload the video, you will be getting notification. If you unsubscribe my channel, even if I upload the videos, you will not be getting any notification. So in the same way, this application will be subscribed to the store. And inside the store, we are having one method called subscribe method. And this method will be accepting function as its parameter. So it will be taking function as its parameter, and this function will be executed whenever we do any changes in the store. So basically, if we have subscribed, whenever I upload the video, you will be getting the notification. Every time I upload the video, you will get the notification. In the same way, inside this subscribe method, we will be passing function as the parameter, and this function will be executed every time there is some change in the store. And this is how we are going to pass subscribe, and inside this we will be passing the listener. And also it allows a method called dispatch, and this dispatch method will allow updates to our application, and this method will be accepting action as its parameter. Now my action in this example is buy book, so it will be accepting that as its parameter. Based on the reducer switch cases, whatever return value I am having, that will be updated using this dispatch method. Okay, this is how we are going to pass dispatch. Then finally, if you don't want to do any changes in the store, we can unsubscribe to the store by calling the function which is returned by the subscribe method. As I told you, subscribe method will be taking function as its parameter. So to unsubscribe to that store, we can use unsubscribe by calling the function which is returned by this subscribe method. Basically, it will be handling unregistering of listeners. I just want to unsubscribe. Now I don't want to make any changes to the store, so I will be unsubscribing. I don't want to make any changes. Okay, these are the responsibilities of a store. It will store our application state. It has one method called getState, which allows our application to access the state. It allows our application to register listeners through the subscribe method. And this method accepts a function as its parameter, which is executed every time when the state in the Redux store changes. So this is how we are going to define subscribe. It provides a method called dispatch to allow updates to our application state. And this method will accept action as its parameter. And this is how we are going to define dispatch method. After that, we can also unsubscribe to the store by calling the function which is returned by this subscribe method. Basically, it will be handling unregistering of listeners via the function returned by subscribe method. These are the responsibilities. Just understand about these responsibilities. Practically, we are going to implement this. Then you will be having clear idea on this store. Now I have opened my Visual Studio Code. We have already created the initial state. We have our action type. We have created action, and also we have seen action creator. We have created the reducer. Now we are going to do about store. Now if you see here, we have already created the initial state. Now we want to create the store. As I told you, create store is deprecated, but still in this tutorial, we are going to learn about create store so that we learn about Redux. So now create store we will be getting from Redux. So we have to import Redux. As of now, we are simply using this JavaScript application. So we are going to require Redux. I will come here, and above I am just going to write const Redux is equal to require, and inside this I'm just going to call this Redux package. Okay, this is how we are going to get Redux. Once we get the Redux, inside this Redux we have a method called create store. That also we have to get. I will be writing const create store is equal to, if we were using React, we will be writing import, but as this is a JavaScript, we are just going to use require. Basically, this concept we will be using in Node.js. Okay, this create store, it is a method in Redux, so we don't have to give here require. We can directly write redux dot create store. You can see here we are having one strike, and if you just read this one, we recommend using the configure store method of the Redux toolkit package, which has replaced this create store. And Redux toolkit, as I told you, you don't have to worry. Once you understand about Redux, you will be more appreciating about Redux toolkit. So first we are going to focus only on Redux. So we are just going to get the Redux, and after that we are just going to get the method from Redux that is called as create store. Now we will be creating the store const store is equal to, we are going to pass this method create store, and this will be taking reducer as its parameter. As of now, we are having only one reducer, so we are passing the same thing. If we are having multiple reducers, that is a different case. We will be combining all the reducers, and that combined reducer we will be passing here. But this create store will be taking only one reducer as its parameter. In our application, we are having only one reducer. So I have just passed that one reducer here. And this reducer has the initial state of our application. And based on the actions received, we will be updating a state. If we have by book, accordingly, a state number will be decreased. Initially, we are having 200. As soon as this action is dispatched, I will be getting here 199 as the result. Now we have seen inside store, we have this get state, which will allow the application to access the state. So I just want to display that. Okay, let me just write here log, and inside this, first I will be writing initial state. I will come up initial state of our application. Here I am going to write store dot get state method. Using this get state method, it will be allowing application to access the state. Now using this get state, I can just get this initial state of our application. Whatever state I am having, I can just display that one. So what I have done, I have got the Redux, then I have just accessed the create store method. I have created the store. Inside that I am just passing the reducer as its parameter. Because inside reducers, we are having all these actions, all these cases. Based on this action, we will be getting the result. Now using this get state, our application will be having access to this particular state. So now we are going to subscribe to the store. Only then we will be able to access or keep track of those updated states. I will be writing here store. Okay, these all are methods. So we are going to write store.getState, store.subscribe, subscribe, and this will be taking function as its parameter, and inside this also I'm just going to display the log. As we are having only one statement, directly I'm just going to console this one. I will copy. Here I will be pasting that. Let me just remove this semicolon. This is our result, and here I just want to display updated state. Updated state of our application. This will be the initial state. As soon as I subscribe to the store, which basically means whatever changes I have done to the store, that will be displayed here. Updated state of our application. So before giving any changes, let me open terminal. Inside this, I'm going to write node index. You can see Redux tutorial. Initial state of our application is this one. Whatever state we are having, let me just comment it out this line. I will save this. Again, I'm just going to write this one. You can see only I'm having initial state of our application. Now we have subscribed. I will just uncomment this one. Again, I will just write. You can see still I am having initial state of our application. I have just displayed this one, but I have not done any changes to our state. So it is not going to work. It will not be displaying anything. For that, we have dispatch method, which will be taking action as its argument. So now here I am going to write dispatch. Dispatch is also a method in store. So we are going to write store dot. Because we have given this variable, so we are just giving the same variable. Whatever variable you give here, you have to pass the same variable whenever you give this method. Dispatch, and inside this, we have to pass action as its argument. Previously, we have created this action creator. I'm going to pass here by book. As soon as I pass this by book, inside this reducer, it is just going to check for the condition. Here I am having this by book. Inside that, I am just reducing the number of books by 1. I will save this. I will just do, now you can see the updated state is 199. As soon as I have done some changes, using the subscribe method, it will allow the changes. So I will be getting the updated state. Only when I dispatch action, according to reducer, whichever action I am having, that will be displayed. Now I have dispatched the action. Now suppose inside reducer, if I do not have this by book, I will do. Now you can see both the states are 200 and 200. Updated state is also a 200 and initial state is also a 200. Here we have done changes. So subscribe method is called. But as inside reducer, we do not have anything. It is just going to return the default state. And our default state is nothing but 200 books. Now let me just uncomment this one. If I call multiple times, then also it is going to work. I will save this. I will do. You can see first 200, 199, 98, 97, 96. This all are updated state. Only first time we are going to get initial state. After doing any changes, that will be our updated state. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. Now, if I just don't want to do any changes, I can just unsubscribe. So for that, this store, I will be creating one variable unsubscribe is equal to, and we have already seen, we can also unsubscribe to the store by calling the function which is returned by the subscribe method. So this subscribe method is returning this function. So what I will be doing, I will just write here unsubscribe. We just have to write like this. I will save this. I will just do note index. Now you can see it will be stopped here. Now after that, let me just copy. Here I will be pasting save note index. Now you can see till 190 only I am having this data. Here also till 190. After unsubscribe, again if I just call this dispatch, it is not going to work because here we have stopped the changes. Now what it is telling? It is telling I don't want to update the state. So after this, if we just print this one, we are not going to get any result. We are just going to get till 190. So let me just revise whatever we have done. First, we have got the Redux, and from Redux, we have got the create store method, create a store. Now we have called this create store method, and inside that we have passed one parameter, that is a reducer. Inside reducer, we are having the initial state as its parameter and action as its parameter. Initial state is nothing but whatever data I am having inside the initial state. And action is nothing but these are the actions. These are the action we have created, action creator. Inside this we have type as by book. So whenever this action is dispatched, our state, whatever data we are having inside the state, that will be reduced by 1. If this action is not dispatched, then I will be returning the default state. So my initial state will always be 200, this one. After that, I just want to do some changes inside the store. So this subscribe method will allow application to access the state. So our updated state will be this one. After I call this dispatch function, based on this dispatch, I will be getting the desired result. If I just want to stop the changes in the state, then I can just unsubscribe, and this unsubscribe will be calling to the function which is returned by the subscribe method. Basically, it will be handling and registering of listeners. It will just stop. After unsubscribe, if I just do dispatch, it will not work and we are not going to get the desired result. So now suppose multiple times I have passed here. Directly also we can just pass the action type here. I will copy. I will copy. And inside this, I'm just going to pass this one. Now let me just comment it out. So now let me remove this. Now for each and every dispatch, we don't have to pass this action type. Okay, it will be very difficult and our code will be looking very messy. So maybe in future, if we add multiple properties here, each and every dispatch we have to come and we have to change. So that is the reason we have created action creator to simplify our code. I will remove this entire thing. This is all about store. Practice this again and again. Only then you will be able to understand about stores. Continuously keep on doing for 3 to 4 times. By yourself, you will understand in clear way.